Okay,
All right.
we're live.
Thank you all for joining the OpenJS Foundation board meeting for July 23rd, 2021. Brian, please take it away.
Great, thank you. Welcome everybody. On the screen, we have our board directory, current board directory. No changes since the last time. And next up, we have today's agenda. First off, we will approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting on June 25th. We'll have an update on certification, an update on where things are on the CPC, and then a marketing update. Does anybody have anything they would like to add to the agenda? All right, hearing none, we will move forward to the meeting minutes approval. Board, you've received the meeting minutes from the June 25th meeting. Would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Thank you, Todd. Do we have a second?
Second.
Well, I'm sorry, I heard 2 seconds there. Who would like that one?
I'll take it. It was Sarah.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Do we have any opposed? Any abstains? Okay, thank you. Meeting minutes are approved. Moving on to the certification update. Robin, would you like to take this?
Sure. Not a lot of changes this month, although if you all saw that we did have a nice sale this month at 60% off. So I encourage you to come back and visit our website and check our Twitter channels for any sales we have throughout the year. We did have a price increase that happened July 1st. It was the first price increase, I think, ever that the Linux Foundation training team has had. The full price is $375 per exam, but there are bulk packages you can buy with training as well. And we do have a free training. We also have our content available in Chinese, and as any updates are made, as the Node project is updated, those are being maintained in Chinese as well. And we also are bringing on more corporate subscribers. And often that is through some of these enterprise like learning or libraries that you may have at your company. So if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to me. And of course, there are discounts if you are an OpenJS Foundation member or a member of JavaScriptlandia. And again, we have all those discount codes, so give me a shout. All right. Any questions? We can move on. JavaScriptlandia. Jory, you want to take this one?
Sure. So I'm excited to report that the community still remains excited and engaged on JavaScriptlandia with good uptake of the program. We are going to be reconvening the JavaScriptlandia team, those that kind of helped conceptualize and bring this to life in the first place, on sort of the next version of JavaScriptlandia, which we're considering all kinds of different things, new badges and engaging the project maintainers on badges maybe specific to their project, engaging local communities through, say, meetups or other types of affiliations with OpenJS, and additionally, we're excited to be giving a talk on the JavaScriptlandia program at the upcoming OSPOCon conference in Seattle in September. Those are the big highlights, and we thank everybody who's been active and sharing their badges on social.
Great, thanks, Jory. I think we're hearing too that we need to explore different payment methods where a credit card doesn't make sense. So that's something that we're committed to do some more research on, and we'd love to have some more feedback and recommendations on how we implement that.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, moving on to the standards working group.
All right. Yeah, it's me again, I guess. So standards working group, just a refresher, we've got these two main strategic priorities and work is underway in both categories. I think we reported on this as well last time. It is summertime, so we're seeing a little bit of slowdown, but we've got some progress. If you want to switch to the next slide. On the Learning Resource Center, we have a volunteer, thank you, Hemant, who is going to be taking the first stab at the template site for this. And we're going to use 11T after some discussion. Still looking for a great name for this, but we've got a nice kind of path forward for MVP. And again, still gathering resources. So if you find something that really helped you understand just standardization in general, or maybe something specific about understanding, the way to read the JavaScript spec, for example, or something like that, we'd love for you to add your resource so we can share it with the community. And we've also got some highlights from the standards community here at OpenJS on the next slide. First, W3C TPAC has been announced for October 2021. In the past, the OpenJS Foundation community has been present, particularly during their developer days, just having discussions about tightening the feedback loop and working in cooperation with the chairs there. So we expect a lot of great discussions and projects to stem from that, and really looking forward to that. The other thing that we always like to report on is when our community members have proposals that advance. We're very proud of that work. Say congratulations to Jordan Harband, who at last week's TC39 meeting had his proposal for private fields, brand ergonomics in private fields reaching stage 4. And then excited also to share that our colleague Emily has joined Mozilla, which has long been a great partner and champion in open source and open standards. And he's going to get to continue the work that he's been doing, not just with us in open source, but also in the Unicode message format working group. And just congrats to Emily and especially Mozilla for snagging Emily. And that's what I have this week or this month for highlights.
Awesome.
Hey, any questions for Jory? Moving on to the CPC update. Sarah, would you like to take us through this?
Yes. So the Collaboration Network had their first kickoff meeting on July 16th. This was an opportunity for folks to get together and talk about the future, which is great. Next slide. We're currently working on our chairperson election. It's become time as Joe's, why can't I think of the word of the allotted time for his role, but the
tenure.
Timing is up. Tenure, thank you very much, Michael. Joe's tenure is up, and we're currently taking nominations. Folks can reach out to Jory if they're interested in running. The voting begins on August 3rd and ends on the 17th. Next slide. No new charter changes for board approval. And then, so we had a working session regarding the community fund. And one thing that we're doing is we're kicking things off, I think, with 20 scholarships for folks that are needs-based. Robin, I believe, is working on the proposal currently in order to get this kicked off. So we're very excited about this as we repurposed our travel fund now to the community fund. And this is our first opportunity to put it into action. And then we're working on providing implementation guidance for DCO CLA for projects, for DCOs and CLAs. Brian did some work on the DCO bot. Sounds like last year. Brian, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I can provide a quick update. Just kind of long arc here. We've had projects which have attempted to implement the DCO process, and by and large, they use the Probot DCO bot, which has been a pretty effective way of determining when somebody makes a contribution to a project, whether they've remembered to include their signed off by line. We did get some feedback that process is maybe a bit more geared around command line users as opposed to web UI users. It is possible from the command line to amend if you forgot your signed off by line, but that's harder to do from the web UI. I had made some changes. We have an open pull request to Probot DCO, which basically provides a way to go back after the fact and add a signed off by line that refers back to a commit, and have Probot DCO recognize this and then treat it as a valid sign off. And we've taken this through various legal committees. OpenJS legal committee looked at this and said, looks fine. We've on the board, there was some discussion about this back at the time, and it was generally approved. At this point, really, we're just waiting for this to be merged. One of the things I think we need to look at maybe going forward, this is a fairly substantial change to this particular piece of software. One of the questions which we have been discussing here is what additional support can we offer, not just to our projects who would be using this, but also, to make sure that this remains maintained and healthy going forward into the future. I think that's, does anybody have any other questions on what's happening in the CPC?
I just make a note that there is a pinned issue that has the calendar on the topics that we're covering. So I urge you all to take a look at that, and you can add yourself to the calendar on our collaboration page.
All right, let's move on to our next topic, which is the marketing update. Rachel, would you like to take us through this?
Yeah, sounds good. So here are our blog metrics for the month. We're definitely around on track to where we typically are this time of the month around page views. And then you'll also see on the left-hand side, we've really been taking advantage of the great content from OpenJS World, posting a ton of recap blogs, and just kind of getting all of the goodness we possibly can out of the fantastic talks that we had. Next slide. So here are our website metrics. I just did want to note that we are slightly down just based on last month, which I think we're going to kind of see throughout the slides. We had such a banner month last month with the event. So this is totally to be expected. Again, you'll see that big old spike around the 4th. That's when our event was. So just kind of like, month over month, what we're seeing there as far as sort of normalizing out. Referral traffic tends to be our top channel for the OpenJS site. And then as far as where those referrals are coming from, I did include a list, and Node and jQuery tend to round out as the top referrals. And if there are no questions on this, we can go to the next slide, which is Twitter. So you'll kind of, like I said, you'll see a little bit of a down drop in some of our social channels. Here are sort of the 28-day summary. I really attribute this to, obviously, we just had such a big June with the event. As we all know, our community really engages a ton on Twitter. So there was just a lot of traffic, which was great to see. So we're kind of seeing some of this normalization. You'll also see on the next slide, where you'll see kind of exactly how much we did last month in comparison to what a typical month would be. So that grayed out is all of the stuff that kind of all the engagement, the published post from last month. And this month, we're kind of returning to our, regularly scheduled programming. Next slide is LinkedIn. We're not seeing as much of a drop off, but again, our LinkedIn is not as primary of a channel as our Twitter, but we are, again, we're seeing sort of a return to normal state for the OpenJS Foundation. So a little bit of a drop off, but again, just a testament to how much traffic we did on for the event. The next slide is YouTube. I think this is definitely continuing to be a bright spot regarding our strategy and format for the event. As you'll see, I want to say last month we had about 12,000 views, and this month there's about 4,000 views. That's still much more than what we typically would have gotten pre-event. So we are still having sort of that trickle effect of folks coming to our YouTube, watching, a majority of what they're watching is from OpenJS World 2021. You'll also see OpenJS World 2020 on there. So just again, great feedback for us into kind of our approach for the event, and just the content is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. And then I think we have one more slide. Nope, that's it. Any questions on any of the marketing metrics that we read out today?
No, I think that the slide that we maybe thought that might be missing is that we still are encouraging folks to save the date for OpenJS World 2022. Yeah.
Yes. So we are encouraging folks to sign up for updates for OpenJS World 2022, which will be in Austin, Texas. And we're excited to, fingers crossed, see everybody there.
Yep. So if there's just a drop down on the homepage of our website where you can put your email address and you can get updates as things come along.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, this brings us to the end of our content for today. Does anybody have anything they would like to bring up before we close up the meeting? Okay, not hearing anything. I think we can probably close it. Robin, would you like to close the meeting here?
Sure. Are you all? Just want to thank everybody. Thank the board. You're a busy working board. I appreciate everything that you all do for all of us, and of course our amazing team and the community. It's been great, and I look forward, as the world opens up a little bit more, to start seeing you all in person.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Robin.
With that, let's close up the meeting for today.